Hi, I'm Shannon from houseimprovements.com, and we're back out here at the cabin build. We're getting ready to build this huge deck. The deck overall is going to be 12 feet out from the cabin and 33 feet long. So I'm just getting started here, and we're going to do a complete series on showing you what I do. So this video here is to do with the ledger. The ledger is the piece of wood that mounts to the home, and it's typically the same size as the floor joists you're using. In our case, we're using 12-foot 2x10s for the floor joists, and we're going to use 2x10s as well for the ledger board. The ledger board will be pressure treated, so we need to make sure we use proper fasteners that are okay to be used with pressure treated lumber. So check on that. I'm using these manufactured bolts or screws or whatever you want to call them. They're made by Ledger Lock. I've used these before in the past. They worked fine. A little less messing around than with leg bolts. Typically we used to always use like a 1/2 inch leg bolt, but through this ledger board you'd be pre-drilling and everything, and it's just another step in the whole process, where with these Ledger Lock structural screws, they're made for this, they're approved for this. They've got a built-in washer, and there's no pre-drilling. So with these Ledger Locks, they're a little different if you're used to using leg screws. Usually with leg screws or leg bolts, you know, in a 2x10 we'd probably do 3, you know, every 16 inches or something like that, and we're mounting right through, in our case, to the rim board of the house, or depending on what you're doing, you might be trying to hit the studs. With these Ledger Locks, they're mounted on the 2x10, or they're secured through the 2x10 on a V or a W pattern. So you want to stay 2 inches down from the top and 2 inches up from the bottom on your ledger. Let's see, 3 3/4, 4 inches they recommend in from any ends. And like I said, it's going to be a V type pattern. And when you buy the Ledger Locks, there'll be an updated, or the most recent packaging. So if there's any changes in the spacing, you can check it there. They've got a chart, actually right here. I originally laid out my 2x10. Here, I'll just show you. So here's my ledger board that I'm going to use, right? Can you see this? So I snapped a line 2 inches from the edges, just to make it easy, and I marked out my positions on my ledgers. And I also marked out my joist positions on the top roughly, so that I wouldn't hopefully put one of these bolts right where the joist or joist hangers are going to be. Now when I originally marked it out, I must have been looking at an old chart online, and for my span and joist size and everything and live load, at that time it was suggesting every 9 inches. So 9 inches. Let's see, get you on the camera here. So, you know, here's a top one in the top, and then the next one at the bottom would have been, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Top. Next one at the bottom would have been 9 inches over from that at the bottom, and then so on. And that's what I marked out here. So then I opened up my new box of Ledger Lock bolts here, screws, and thought, I'll just do a quick once over on the instructions. And lo and behold, the chart has actually changed. So now, for what I'm doing, so this is the chart. And for what I'm doing, I'm going 60 pounds live load. And I follow the column over here, because up here is your spans of your joists. I'm going to be 12 feet, so here's 11.6, so I've got to go to the next one. 13 feet, come down, and it's 5 inches now. So it's almost twice as close as before. So good thing I checked, and I remarked it out. So if you see a bunch of extra marks on there with a little scribble through, that's what that was all about, because I originally went with an old spec that I had. So Okay, so I've determined the height of my deck. We've got a door over here that you can see. So I've placed my joist height at, what did I use? 1.75 inches below the bottom of the sill of the door. In some areas, you may actually have to be 6 inches below any openings or whatever. Around here, that isn't a thing. But I do want to be low enough that, you know, I can easily get my deck boards in under there, but yet not so low that it's a bit of a tripping hazard. So I picked that measurement. We will be using composite decking, which is only 1.5 inches, but I just left myself that little bit of room there in case down the road something changes for some reason. So anyways, determine your height. Snap a line along the whole length of your wall that you're going to do that at. Level line, obviously. Some people will argue this point, and even I've done it both ways. Some people say, oh, you need to have, you know, slope on your deck, you know, away from the house or whatever. Well, in reality, with a boarded deck, I've kind of changed my thinking on the whole thing too, because with a boarded deck where you've got all the spaces, having a slope on it, I don't know that that's really doing anything for you. The water can run off the boards into all the cracks that are there. Maybe if you had a solid deck with carpet or some vinyl or something, then it's probably a good idea to have enough slope the water would run away. With a deck with you know, planks or composite decking on it where you've got all the spaces, I don't think it's necessary. So this line is level out to my supports, and we'll talk about that in a different video. So anyways, ledger, I'm going to mount it up. I've got it cut because I had to notch it around this build out that I've got around the door, because we're going to be putting foam on the walls under the siding. So anyways, that's all notched. I've retreated the cut part. So anytime you cut pressure treated lumber, you should retreat any open cuts. So I've actually treated it twice. And I'm going to hold my ledger up there on that line. So this red chalk line is the top of my ledger. And I'm just going to use a couple of framing nails just to tack it in place. And then I'll go back and install my ledger bolts. Okay. So I'm just finding my line here. Okay. So that's all that takes, just a couple just to hold it in place. So like I said, I've got everything all marked out. These ledger locks come with a driver already, a nut driver in the box. So I don't know what are these. I don't know what size the actual shank is on these. I'm gonna say it's probably 3/8, or no, probably not even 5/16 maybe. I don't really see it on there. It's probably in the literature somewhere. But anyways, yeah, that's it. So here's my first mark. I'm minimum 3 3/4 in from the end. So I'm going to put a ledger lock there. Okay, so those suck in really nice and tight. I really should have some hearing protection. Here we go. I'm deaf enough as it is. I don't need to make it any worse. So these ones, what do they class these? These are classed as 5 inches. So I'm going through my 1.5 inch ledger, and my my rim board is 1 1/8 inch. So I've got plenty of bolt here. They do make shorter ones. When I did my floor joists, if you watch that video, I added blocking between my joists at the top, and that was supporting some of the edge of the plywood. But at the top, I know I've got another 1.5 inch inside the rim. So I got the longer bolts anyways. I did get one package of shorter ones just because one box of the longer ones wasn't enough. And I figured, well, I can use the shorter ones on the bottom where there isn't that extra blocking. And now that the spaces are tighter together, I probably don't have enough bolts anyways. Okay, so our pattern, like I said, is a V. This will be my next one. Okay, so here it is from the front. You can see the pattern there. Now I did have to offset the odd one. Here's a spot up here where I had a joist. Joist is going to sit here. So I was just making sure that hopefully none of those interfere with joist placement. So it's also a good idea when you're picking out your ledger stock that you pick straight and untwisted pieces of material. It'll just make your life easier in getting everything straight and sitting nicely. Now, the next thing that I always like to do is run a membrane. And this is something new that I've been doing, and everybody's kind of recommending it now. So on my old deck series, you wouldn't have seen this. And I just have a small piece, but it's just a peel and stick type membrane. And we just want to use it to flash the wall and across the top and a little bit down onto here. Now you could cover this whole face if you wanted to, but I mean this is pressure treated, and you know how much water is really going to sit on this face. The idea is you're protecting this and you're creating a diversion to keep the water from going behind there, which if water gets between the back of this and the house wrap, it's not going to dry out very easily or even drain very easily. Some people will actually space the ledger board off the wall. You know, they'll use some PVC, you know, 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch spacers. That's fine too. But that's just hanging your ledger that much further off the wall as well. To me, I'd rather have it tight on the wall and have a flashing up here. So you can use membrane flashing, or you could use a you know, a window and door cap type flashing. It goes on here, and tape the top of it to direct water out, or you could use a combination of both of them. One thing to remember, if you're going to use any kind of flashing or any kind of metal, it has to be compatible with pressure treated lumber. That's why this is a piece of vinyl. I don't have to worry about that. That's all I used to do, is put that on there and tape this top. And now I more so just use the membrane, and I don't worry about having any kind of flashing. But if you're going to use a flashing and a membrane, then you don't need to be as worried about the material being compatible with the pressure treated, because now you've got the membrane separating the two. So I guess that's a plus for that. There'll just be a backing on here that I've got to peel off to get started. And this is the same product that I use around the windows and that sort of thing to create the sill pans. So it's that type of product. I like to use ones that are kind of self-healing, so if you put a nail or a fastener through it, it seals back up around that fastener. So now I'm going to, let's see, if I actually use that chalk line there with this width of flashing, I probably would be all right. Just run this just above that line. Just kind of use that as a guide. Okay, so we got it along there, and then I want to get it nice and nicely laid on top, on the top edge of the ledger. before I get it stuck to the wall. So we get a nice corner down in there. And then up onto the wall. Like so. You can use your rubber roller. If you have like a laminate roller or whatever, you can roll that out. Make sure you have good contact. So now we've got drainage down this plane, out across the top of the ledger, and out, and you know, falling off, dripping off. I didn't come right out here just because of how I'm gonna do this end. I'll put a piece on after I get the first joist in place. So then, like I said, if you wanted to, you could still do another flashing here. If you do that, then you want to tape this or use another strip of membrane across the top once the flashing is attached. Okay, so of course I've got a lot more to do. I've got to go all the way down the side of the house, the side of the cabin, but really it's just all more of the same. Click the thumbs up, keep watching this series, check out the cabin build, check out our channel. We've got hundreds of videos, honestly, on many different aspects of things you can do yourself, and I show you exactly what to do. Thanks for watching.